Hello YouTube viewers, Facebook friends, Facebook family, and YouTube subscribers to my channel. I want to welcome you to another edition of Joe's Politics 101. Today is June the 2nd, 2014. Been a lot going on. I hadn't posted anything in a while. There's been a lot going on that you just have to put your hand in your face in your hand and shake your head and say, Lord, oh Lord, please bless us. Help our nation move forward. There's a lot going on. And over the last couple of weeks, well, the last month or so, I've been really just looking at the politics of our nation, and it's amazing, it's really amazing how our political system has turned into a criminal enterprise. Now, I say that because we have a lot of political hustlers running around, mainly, and it's sad to have to say it this way, but mainly in the Republican Party. We have a lot of political hustlers. And what I mean, if you understand the word hustle, you do things for personal gain, con men, drug dealers, gangsters, gamblers, the hustlers, political hustlers. Do you understand that term, political hustler? It's people who are lying, cheating, saying any and everything, telling just outrageous junk, to make themselves known for personal gain. That's what hustlers do. They hustle for personal gain. It's not like hustling to help anything or help anybody. It's for the personal things. I have a list of political hustlers. At the top of my list is this, I don't really know how to describe this guy, but let me just say the Cuban, Canadian, American Ted Cruz, who is the follower of his father, Raphael Cruz, the evangelical Christian hustler, church hustler, whose ideas he vanishes on. He's pushing forward his father's agenda. His father, his segregate, his teacher, his learner about what America should be. When in fact, he's an immigrant to this country more so than anybody else that's in the political realm of our nation right now. Ted Cruz and his father. Canada, Cuba, to America. And then we have old Dickie Boy Cheney, the real political hustler. The real political hustler, the liar, the demagogue, the cheater, the vested interest in obtaining cash money from hustling politics, hustling a war in Iraq for his personal gain. He and his friends' personal gain. He led poor George Bush down the beaten path of no return. That's why you don't see George Bush raising his head very often, because he knows that he was used by a political hustler by the name of Dick Cheney, whom he made vice president of the United States of America, and who led him down the beaten path of destruction and destruction of the U.S. economy, destruction of the U.S. recognition overseas. All the good things that had happened to America was destroyed by George W. Bush and his political hustling buddy, Dick Cheney. And then we have the little slick man, no political hustler, Rand Paul. People should really be aware of these individuals. And they smooth talk, they slick talk, they acting on the floor of the Senate, the way they talk about things, the way they say things, their words, how they put their words together to get you to believe that what they're saying is correct. They're somewhat of motivational speakers, but they're political hustlers. Motivate you to believe the lie that they tell, that they got wrapped in their words. The lies of how great they can make America. Vote for me and I'll set you free. You'll have freedom of speech. You'll have all of these things that you already have. Freedom of speech. They talk about the Constitution as if a dollar can talk back to you. Let me go in my wallet here and get a $20 bill or something here. Let me see. Let me see what happens here when I pull out this $20 bill. See that bill right there? See that? You recognize that guy on there? You recognize him? Yeah. I wonder, man, could you give me some more of these $20 bills? Huh? I don't hear you. This stuff don't talk. It don't talk. Do you understand that? It don't talk. It has no words coming out of its mouth. It's a picture of a past president. That's all that is. Money do not talk. The political hustlers, the constitutionalists, the guys that, I know so much about the Constitution. Corporations are people. They have a right to speak, but they can only speak with their dollars and cents. Our political system has turned into a gangster's operation. And it's sad to say it. I keep having to say this over and over. It's sad to say it, but it seems like it's all on the Republican side. We have gangsters in our Supreme Court, the gangster crew. 5 Supreme Court, conservative Republican Supreme Court justices. 5 of them. That's voting against, that's passing laws that's detrimental to the well-being of all citizens of the United States of America. We have these people with all of these ideas that every man should be for himself. Every man should be for himself. Basically, that's the way it is anyway. We all are for ourselves. We have to find a job. We have to provide ourselves a place to stay. We have to do all of these things by working for someone in general. There's no farms, no small community farms anymore. No places you can grow your garden, your hog, your pig, your cow, your whatever. They have turned our country into, really don't know what they've turned it into, but the political hustlers, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, all of these people, they're so worried about elections, being elected, being re-elected. They talk about things that they have no idea of anything. Dick Cheney, for instance, they got this deal with this Sergeant Burdock. They come up. The political hustlers come out. The Fox News pundits, if you want to call them that, or news people, or whatever they so-call themselves, they come out. But all of this degrading and denigrating stuff, it ain't at that sergeant, it's at the President of the United States. That's what it's about. Talking about the 5 Taliban people that were released from Guantanamo Bay. Will they get back into the fight, or will they not get back into the fight? Guess what? If they get back into the fight, trust me, they'll meet the same end that a lot of their former cohorts have met. And then I have to sit back and I wonder. I'm listening to the way they talk, okay, about this sergeant. Now, whether he walked off of his post, or he abandoned his post, or he went AWOL, or whatever he did, he ended up in the hands of the Taliban. It's our responsibility as a country and as a military force, period, to get him back. Whether he was captured, went AWOL, walked away from his post, any of that. It's our responsibility to bring him back. And if he has to be dealt with legally, then that's what the military code of justice is for. It's not what you are supposed to be for. And the way they're talking, it's okay. Yeah, here's the deal. It's okay. You hear this debate about Anwar al-Awlaki, the guy that was targeted and bombed in Yemen. Now, here's a terrorist that was openly, just outright saying what he was doing in Yemen, targeting the United States of America to do harm to Americans. And he was an American citizen. Now, you tell me where justice was not served, but you can say that Berdahl should never return to the United States of America. He should be left in the hands of the Taliban. But it's wrong to have killed al-Awlaki, who was openly targeting and saying things that he was going to do to the United States of America. It's confusing. It's confusing. One minute you're supporting leaving an American citizen in the hands of an enemy because they released 5 people. 5 people. Let them go to their home. You don't have any charges on them. Let them go. If they get back into the fight, they'll meet their end. It wasn't all this concern about American lives when y'all started a war in Iraq that should not have been started. If the Congress had held George Bush's feet to the fire to make him in Afghanistan, to do what we were supposed to have been doing in Afghanistan, the war in Afghanistan would have long been over. It would have long been over. No, you authorize him to go and attack Iraq. We marred down in Iraq for 8 years, and in this country here for 12 or 13 years now? You're talking out of both sides of your mouth and your neck and your ears and everything. You're talking out of it. And people like Dick Cheney should never even cross his mouth to talk about military anything. Draft dodger. Never have put on a uniform. Never put on a military uniform, a United States military uniform of any sort. Lindsey Graham, a reservist, judge advocate. Never set foot in a war zone. And I just want to, before I shut this down, I just want to make sure that people know something and understand something. There are millions or thousands, I'll say, of disgruntled individuals in the military. They see these advertisements, join the Navy, see the world. It's an adventure. It's not a job, it's an adventure. Army ads. We do more by 6 a.m. in the morning than most people do all day. in the Marine advertisements. You know, the advertisements in the Air Force, you know, advertisements, Coast Guard, whatever. But then a lot of these young men get into the military, go into boot camp or training, and they get disillusioned with it because of the training. That's when it settles into you what your responsibilities are. You signed a contract to commit to do something, and you try your best as a military person to do that. So don't just think just because if for instance Birdall did walk off of his post, or he did leave his area and went to the Taliban to avoid being in a conflict or war or having to fight, whatever. You know, you take that into consideration, and you need to understand that he is not the only disgruntled person that's in the military. We saw it in Manning. You know, and then you got people that you're praising like Eric Snowden, praising Putin for his leadership. Eric Snowden, all of these different people. You know, you put them above your country. You put their actions and abilities above your country. You know, Republicans, ignorant, stupid, just downright two-faced, two-sided, and looking for anything they can just to hurt this particular president as they destroyed the nation, which they almost did under George Bush.